Hello, little lady. Yeah, wife gets to do the cleaning and the dogs get to play. And I'm going back in the house. So in this video, what I'm going to be discussing is the difference between pro mix or seed starting mix versus potting mix. And don't forget, this video is also being brought to you in podcast form. So anyone listening in the podcast, you will also know that there will be a video on YouTube available one day from now on exactly what we're talking about here on this podcast. Let's get into it. All right, so as you can see in this tote right here, Cindy, is that's potting mix in this big tote, and this bucket here is seed starting mix that I just showed you. As you can see, this is seed starting mix. In this tote, this is potting mix. So I'm going to take a scoop so we can get a better closer look. I'm going to take a scoop out of here and a scoop out of here, and I'm going to show you a little bit better example than showing this. All right, so I got a scoop of both. This here is the seed starting mix. As you can see, it's very, very fluffy. It's very airy. And it has very, very little to no obstacles whatsoever. Very fluffy. And here is the seed starting mix. Now, as you can see, and this is actually not staged, it's got sticks in it. It's very rough. I mean, this is great for when you're up potting your little seedlings, which you guys can see there. I've already started quite a few, and they're underneath the heat mat there. But that is the difference, is you really want to try to avoid this, using this if you can, to seed start. Now, when you're transplanting from here, let's say if I have little plants here, and I want to up pot these and transplant them, then, and only then, I don't want to no longer use seed starting mix, because I used it here to make sure I get good germination and there's nothing obstructing the seeds from actually coming up through that medium. And this also has no nutrition. This is basically bland. It has no nutrition. And once the seedlings germinate and they get their true leaves, then they will need some kind of nutrition and food in the soil. And that's where this comes in, where potting mix does have some nutrients included in it. And once the roots are established, the roots no longer care if there's a little twig in here or a piece of wood, because the roots will work themselves around that. But the reason why this should not be used for seed starting is because if there's lumpy chunks of wood on top of the soil, then that seed wants to penetrate through and it keeps hitting an obstacle. Then the seed tries to go around it and it keeps hitting an obstacle. Well, 2-3 days, once that seed keeps trying and it has no way to get through, that seed is just going to rot in the soil and it's never going to germinate. And then a lot of people will wonder, well, the seed must have not been good. Well, not necessarily. This could have had something to do why your seed never germinated to begin with, is because it could have hit, a piece of bark or a piece of wood, and it struggled to penetrate the surface. That's why for seed starting, I always recommend is, once in a while, yeah, you'll find, look, see that piece of wood, and that's seed starting. But look at that. Once I worked it with my hands, I felt it and I remove it. And look, that is what you want to start your seeds in. And don't forget, work your hands in there so you can feel, because your hands will feel this stuff and you want to get rid of that. Now, if I was transplanting and that was in there, I wouldn't worry too much about that because the seed's already germinated. So that piece of wood in this potting soil would not bother me one bit because the roots would go right around that. So that is the difference between seed starting and potting mix. Invest the time to purchase some of this to get your seed started, and then use some of this potting mix to, up pot your plants. I know it's spending a little bit more money, but then again, you're doing it is to accomplish the main goal is to grow your plants successfully, to put them outside. So I hope that explains the question. And for you guys that are listening on the podcast format, a video will be coming out on this on the Will It Grow YouTube channel. Go on over there and you can see exactly what I am talking about here on this podcast. And I'm also going to be starting more seeds, which this is all the tomatoes. Every one of them is all tomatoes. And next, I will be doing all the peppers and cucumbers and everything else coming up next. So I hope this helped you out. And guys, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. And we will be doing a lot more. Till next time, you guys all stay safe. All right, back to the podcast. And Cynthia, I hope that helps your question.